Hey everyone, it's James here from All Elite Physiotherapy and Performance, and today we're going to be presenting part A of our Achilles Tendinopathy series. In part A, what we will be focusing on is what is an Achilles tendinopathy and how to think about an Achilles tendinopathy. So, when we're thinking about a tendinopathy, we need to imagine that the tendon is a spring. When you're running, when you're jumping, when you're changing direction, when you're walking, that tendon is being compressed and then acts as a spring. Now, what happens when you're starting to get an Achilles tendinopathy is that spring is no longer working the way that it should. So if we can break down the Achilles tendon into two ways of thinking. One, the spring analogy. So if you're thinking about you're driving a car, what do the springs in your car do? It helps to keep the car ride comfortable, and it absorbs that load and then releases that load to keep it comfy. Now, if you haven't been using that car for a long period of time, those springs are going to get rusty. So when it's trying to absorb that load, it's going to be a lot more uncomfortable and it's not going to absorb that impact. The second way to think about it is the bucket analogy. If you think about your Achilles tendon as a bucket, what you're doing when you're running, jumping, changing direction is actually filling that bucket up with water. Once that bucket is completely full, if we continue to run, continue to fill it up with water, it's going to start leaking. That's what causes your pain, and that's what causes an Achilles tendinopathy. When we're thinking about things that can actually do that, well, it can range from somebody that's not been doing anything to starting to exercise, run, change direction, or it can be people that are high-level athletes that have just increased their training load to start to work harder towards their next goals. Now, that is part A. So if you've got any more information or need any more information, please contact us on 4981 9501. Make sure to like and subscribe to our channel, because next week we'll be bringing you part B, which is actually looking at whether you have an Achilles tendinopathy or whether it's one of those other little tricky issues that it may be instead. We look forward to seeing you next week.